Well, it's progressing, that's all I can say. It's all working. I'm just finalising the monitor part, the charge part, the discharge and the balance. I'm not doing the capacity or storage yet because I can't be arsed. No, I've got to think about it. The storage is okay, I know I haven't done it, but the capacity part I've got to think hard and long about how I'm going to make it function. So if I go onto the monitor, we've got battery meters now, just so as you can see instantly what's what. You can see there's a 0.02 volt difference, which is 20 millivolts. So that's that. Now I hope, yes, it does go back to the beginning. If I select charge, this fan comes on, they come on, which you can't really see, but that'll come on as well. That basically I've deliberately put a weak cell on here with a bad internal resistance, and as you can probably see instantly, the voltage is going up. Now if I go back and I select discharge, that fan comes on, but you'll also, I don't know if you won't. I'm going to leave this running, and you'll notice that that cell, which is that one there, that will start dropping faster than the rest. I've put the internal resistance, it's only a reference, it's not accurate at the minute. You'll see that that one there is higher resistance than any others. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it on a run time so you can just watch it. Actually, I'm going to zoom in because I love time lapses. So I'm going to leave it on time lapse just to see what happens. What's that strobing? It's strobing. Is it? Well, as you I've got a bit of an artifact. As you can see, it don't take long to discharge them. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to reboot it, and I'm going to charge them. I've never actually charged these till full. Yeah, these do get a bit warm, the batteries, because I mean it's pulling about, I think it's about 12 amps. And these, yeah, they get a bit warm as well. I'm going to charge it now. So this fan comes on there, which you can't really see. I'm going to leave that on run, and you'll notice that cell number 1 should go up higher than the rest. I haven't done the internal resistance on charge at the minute, but I think, I don't know what benefit it'll add, but I might add it anyway just because I can. I just noticed I had it all bloody set wrong, didn't I? I didn't set the minimum discharge voltage correctly. It was actually on the minimum allowed voltage. I'm not going into detail, but it was wrong, so I'm doing it again. So we're going to discharge first. Dirt. So I'll leave that discharging so as they'll all go down to nothing. It's a bit worrying that they're that far out, but hey ho, we'll see what happens. Right, that's down to 2.8 volts now. I need to add something. These batteries, I actually re-skinned them, recoated them, redid all of them randomly, so I don't know which one's good, which one's bad, which one's an old batch, which one's a new batch, or anything like that. So hopefully when I take the casing off again, I'll be able to see if this works. It's purely random, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to put it on charge now. I've balanced all these cells, I've charged them or balanced them, and now I'm going to do the first ever discharge run on them. just to see exactly what happens. I'm not happy with these TP4056s purely because they don't charge at the same rate, and also it took nearly 6 hours to charge the bloody things up. So I've got to have a look at that. Anyway, I'm doing the discharge now, which I'll put on a time lapse sort of, you know, fast forward, whatever. Here we go. I'm just going to stop it there. No, I'm not going to stop it. I'm going to leave it running. As you can hear, it's bleeping away because cell number 1, if I zoom out a bit, if I zoom out all the way, cell number 1 is hot. Yeah, that's getting quite uncomfortably hot. So obviously that's highlighted that cell number 1's bad, and also cell number 9, which is that one there, that one doesn't seem to be very good, and that is hotter than the rest as well. I mean, ultimately what I should have done, I should have put temperature sensors on there, but unfortunately, well, I've got no more pins left. What I might do is have another Arduino somewhere simply monitoring the temperatures and dumping it. As I said, I don't know what the state of these cells are, purely because I didn't want to, because I can unwrap it and I can tell exactly what cell it is. Because I don't think this one's it can't be a Samsung 25R, because you can see number 9, which is that one, is dropping faster than the rest. It's working how I wanted it to. When I do the menu on the capacity test or the battery test thing, exactly what it's going to do is it's going to charge it up. When I plug this in, it's going to charge him up fully, leave him for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes to settle, then it'll balance them, leave them again to settle, and then it'll put them on a discharge cycle, and at the end of it it'll come up with an analysis to say that one's good, that one's bad, take that one out, chuck it away. So what I can then do, like cell number 9, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to analyse it further, probably on my Junsi bloody 406 Duo, whatever I can't remember what the name of it is, just to see the proper runtime, just to make sure it's got the right capacity in it, what the hell's going on. That could have been one that I drained down to 1.5 volts I think it is, and I recovered it, so it's basically knackered. So it's doing what I want it to do, is making sure that all my cells are all perfectly matched, so they all discharge at the same rate, so I don't lose any power whatsoever, which is the unfortunate part that I've got on the bike that I've got, the battery that I've got, sorry. What happens is, when I open the throttle, bank number 6 will drop, because there's probably one cell in the 6 parallel that's, is it 5 parallel? Can't remember now. There's probably one cell that's weaker than the rest of them, and then what happens is it'll come back up, it's fine, after you leave it for a while it'll then be perfectly level, but I want to stop that from happening, which is the sole purpose of building this. So it's working. I'm going to leave that on runtime now again. That one's already done, and I'm going to see exactly what happens. Right, I'm going to stop it there. There's something not right somewhere, hang on. Something ain't right somewhere. Is it just coincidental that 8, 9 and 10, 1 and 2? So I'm going to take 1, 2, 8, 9 and 10 out. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jumble those up and put them somewhere else. Put them all together. If I put them here, which is, I need to test the circuitry, that's all. So if I take all these out, these are getting nice and warm. They're not hot, but they're warm. And I'll put these in here. And I'll put these. These are actually hotter. But I don't know if it's because, where did I put the wires now? Because the earth wires only go onto 3 points. I've got one there, and one there. So I don't know if it's actually abnormally draining them. Unfortunately, this is what I've got to do, is I've got to test the bloody circuitry. It's probably going to take longer to test the circuitry than test the bloody batteries. Anyway, that's going to take a few hours to do, so I'm going to come back when they're fully charged and we'll do another run time to see if that piece, they drain the quickest or it actually drains in the middle as it did just. I need to be 100% on the circuitry before I go any further, I think. Well, I think it's sort of proving that there's nothing wrong with the circuitry, because these things, as you know, the lower voltage ones are moved over to the higher end cells side, that side. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to charge these back up, put them to one side. I'm going to get a completely fresh set of batteries out of the casings, and I'm going to do a run time on those just to make sure that they all balance. Sorry, they all discharge at exactly the same rate. I've had to beef some of the wiring up even more. I've had to put another thick link across the back, and also I've had to link all the FETs to ground each other. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this until it's fully charged, and then I'm going to do another run time just to see if they're all at the same level, rather than, yeah, we'll see. I've had no choice but to take a line of these resistors off. These are 25 watt resistors, as you know, so purely because it ain't dragging them down uniformly. So now I've only got 2 rows of these, which is 50 watts in total. I might do another version with the MOSFETs actually mounted directly on the resistors, just so as I can get a completely uniform resistance on them. But it's a bit annoying, but you know, I've had to make compromises, so it's not going to draw as much, around about what, 6 or 7 amps out of these batteries. So now these are charged, I'm just going to balance them, and then I'll do a run time on the discharge. I'm redoing it. I don't want to, but I've got to. The current drain isn't right, purely because this is the negative here, which goes onto number 8, and it also goes, there's another wire that goes to number 1, I think, and then these are the links across to share the load. But it still isn't discharging at the same rate, so my only option is to put the FETs directly on the resistors, and I hope that's going to be enough. I don't know yet, I've got to rethink it. Also, on the charge side of it, the TP4056s are crap. Some of them charge to 1.9 volts, some charge to 4.25 volts, which just isn't right, and the current is pretty shit. So, when it gets over halfway, the current drops right off, and it will take about 5 hours to charge one of them, which it shouldn't do at 1 amp. It should be a maximum of 2.5. I want it 2.5 hours, but it doesn't. Anyway, these are TP5100s, which are a new one, which are a switch mode. They're not switch mode. These are switch mode. You can usually see by an inductor and a diode. Anything switch mode. So I've got 20 of these, which I only paid about, what, 20 quid for. But it took 3 months, 2 months for them to arrive. So I'm going to be using those instead of those. I've got a lot of work to do on it. I'm not looking forward to it.